Good morning, gang. Monday morning again, but Christmas week, so hopefully everybody's in a little bit of a festive spirit. I know it's kind of tough, but look at the bright side of things. At least this Friday, we all get to get together with family and friends and enjoy the season. Fortunately, yesterday, we have something to celebrate. Okay. Don't know if y'all caught it, but yesterday, one man saved the country. And I'm not talking in the biblical sense about saviors or anything like that. I'm talking about in the physical, mortal sense. Okay. Not all superheroes wear capes. All right. Not all superheroes are portrayed by some chiseled guy or chiseled woman in a Hollywood movie. Okay. Some of them actually do real good in the real world. Now, y'all know me, which side of the political spectrum I fall on. If you don't, I don't know how you haven't figured that one out yet. But I've also told you guys that I will give credit where credit is due. All right. And if a Democrat does something good for the country, I will absolutely give them credit for it. Yesterday, single handedly, Joe Manchin saved the United States. Now, we're still on life support, but he didn't pull the plug. If you saw what happened, this was kind of interesting, and there were a lot of subtle nuances to it, too. Okay. Yesterday morning on Fox News Sunday, the first airing of this show that Chris Wallace was not the host. Okay, Brett Baer is taking over at least temporarily. Joe Manchin, Democrat senator from West Virginia, came on and told the Fox News audience that he was a hard no on Build Back Better, essentially killing the bill altogether. Why go on a conservative channel? Well, maybe because they might be a little receptive to it. You know, CNN would have probably wheeled out the guillotine for him or something like that for, bowing down to the most perfect president ever, all right, as Biden's been called. Who the hell came up with that line? I have no idea, but that speechwriter needs to be drawn and quartered. But this is where it got a little interesting. So, half an hour before Manchin went on Fox News and told the world that Build Back Better was dead, he sent a memo to the White House telling Joe, pound sand, Joe, you're done. Ain't happening. All right. Supposedly, the White House tried to call Joe, and Joe refused to take the phone calls. Okay, Joe Manchin here. All right. I know it gets hard because we got two Joes going on, but potato will be the reference to the White House. So Manchin comes on and says he's a hard no. He can't look in the eyes of the people of West Virginia and tell them that this is good for them. Agreed. If we think about this, we're $29 trillion in debt. The Congressional Budget Office said this will be $4.7 trillion in spending. It's not completely paid for. It's not $2.5 trillion. It's not $1.5 trillion. They keep messing with the numbers and spreading out time and saying, well, look, if we extend it out longer, it costs less each year. Well, sure, y'all know how that one works, okay? Used to be you got a car loan for 3 years. Now you get a car loan for 7 years. Your payments are still the same as they used to be and a percentage of your income at 3 years, except now you're paying for it for 7. That was where Joe had a problem. Now, you think about the comments that were made. And Bernie Sanders and the Jihad Squad went absolutely insane yesterday, okay, with their condemning of Manchin. And I'll kind of let you know a little bit about what they were talking about here in a second. But I want you to think about West Virginia, okay? West Virginia overwhelmingly is a red state. It wasn't before, hasn't been long. It used to be a blue state, okay? Remember, Manchin's a Democrat. West Virginia voted for Trump something like plus 40. And Manchin got reelected. Manchin's a Democrat. Why? He's a moderate Democrat. He does what he's sent to Washington to do. He represents the people of his state. Okay? That's what he's thinking about. West Virginia is one of the poorest states in the country. Adding $4.5 trillion, okay, or something like nearly 20% to the national debt would send inflation through the roof. Now, I'm not going to say that there aren't certain things in the Build Back Better Act that we need to work on, okay? Repairing airports, bridges, stuff like that. No question, all right? I'd love to see drug prices stabilized, whatever. But when you start packing them with all this other pork, all the billions of dollars that they wanted to throw in there to change the weather, you know what I mean, okay, to do studies on salmon and all this crazy, all the pork that was in there, Manchin said no, okay? And his whole point was because of inflation. Now, I get it. And I totally agree. All right. We cannot keep jacking the price of everything up. And so it gets really stupid when you start hearing some of the rhetoric that comes back from the uber leftists. Okay. Like I said, you know, the communists and the Jihad Squad, the Bernie Sanders, that whole group of people. You know, you start with Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders says, we need to force Manchin to vote. I can't do a Bernie Sanders impression. I'm sorry. We need to force Manchin to vote. He doesn't have the guts to stand up and vote. Manchin was on yesterday saying, you want to vote? Send it to a vote. I'll say no. I've got no problem saying no. Okay? Kill it. So, Bernie, shut up. Okay? We don't want your crap. Jen Psaki, okay, Little Red Lying Hood, there isn't any more tone deaf than you can get. Her quote, if someone is concerned about the impact of higher prices, that higher prices are having on families, this bill gives them a break. Explain that to me. Okay, so this is, you know, they want to extend the child tax credit. They want to free community college, some of this other crap in here. Okay. No problem. This is communist logic. You make things more affordable by giving people more money as the prices go up. Okay. Bread costs $1, I make $1. That's great. I can buy a loaf of bread. Bread costs $2. I make $1, the government gives me $1, I can buy a loaf of bread. The problem is, where's that $1 that the government gave me come from? Oh, it comes from the other guy who worked to earn that money to pay taxes, which means now, 6 months from now, a loaf of bread is $3. I make $1, the government gives me $1. Shit, I can't afford a loaf of bread. Sorry, Jen, you know, you're an idiot. Still, we know that. Circle back and go figure out your facts first. But then we got to go to the squad, okay? And these mental midgets are just unbelievable. Ayanna Pressley, okay? Arguably the least influential, the least known of the squad members, okay? Her quote, In obstructing the president's agenda, he is obstructing the people's agenda. No, the people's agenda doesn't want this. That's why you're losing. Okay, if the people wanted this, you'd get it through. The people don't. Okay, first mistake. I was listening to his interview earlier today, and he said it's a mammoth bill. You're right. It's a mammoth bill to address mammoth hurt to lower cost of elder care, child care, prescription drug costs, the child credit, which is so critical in combating child poverty. West Virginia, I believe, is seventh in the country when it comes to child poverty. So by not advancing the Build Back Better Act, not only do we fail to meet the needs of American people, their mammoth hurt in this pandemic and the pandemic-induced recession, not only that, but we're going to put it in his district, in his state, 50,000 more children at risk of going back into poverty by not advancing the Build Back Better Act because the child tax credit is in that and expired Friday. Okay. So let me talk to you just a second about this. A majority of people didn't want the child tax credit, the $300 a month, okay? And just so you guys know, that $300 is an advance. That's all it is, okay? Because it comes out of their income tax refund or whatever it is. They've got to report that as income come April, all right? So it's not a big deal. You know, you talk about combating child poverty. Let's go back, a year to when we had a previous president and we had low unemployment. Pretty much anybody that wanted a decent job could get one. When we had a president who was digging coal, okay, the number one industry in West Virginia, okay. Why do we have more child poverty in West Virginia? Because of the policies that this administration has put into place. Okay, killed the job market, shut down economies, killed the coal industry. Want to talk about putting kids back into poverty? You've already done that. Okay, giving them freebies is communism, not help. But again, we have to go to the most America-hating congressperson in the history of this country. Okay, Ilhan Omar. All right. Minnesota, I have no respect for anybody in her district. Why you keep electing this woman, I have no idea. She stands for everything that is not American. I mean, the Somalis would kick her out, okay? Because, I mean, the only country that would agree with this witch is maybe North Korea. Okay, that's about it. This is her comment yesterday. I mean, we all knew that Senator Manchin couldn't be trusted. The excuses he just made, I think, are complete bullshit. It's really disheartening to hear him say he's been trying to get there for the people of West Virginia, because that's a complete lie. The people of West Virginia would greatly benefit from their families having access to long-term elderly care and care for folks with disabilities. They would benefit from the expansion of tax credits, child tax credits. They would benefit from having access to pre-K. There are just so many things that, you know, the people of West Virginia desperately need. Yeah. Okay. So let's roll, instead of printing more money, let's roll back all the idiotic crap that you and your party keep shoving forward, and let's start putting back some of the stuff that Trump had that was actually doing good. But oh my God, we can't let success happen under a Republican, you know, or whatever party you want to consider Trump from. Okay. You know, if you want long-term elderly care so much, if you want help for folks with disabilities so much, if you want pre-K so much, if you want child tax credit so much, put them in a standalone bill. No pork, just standalone on one side, okay? And see if it goes through. It probably would. The problem is, everybody, every single person in Washington, anybody with a lick of common sense, can see right through all this, going, oh yeah, you know what? They're gonna throw a little bit of, glad handing over to the universal pre-K to keep those people happy. But hey, we're going to shove hundreds of billions of dollars into, the Al Gore Foundation or the John Kerry Foundation or whatever it is to, make sure we can take care of cow farts. On Sunday, December 19th, 2021, Joe Manchin announced to the world that he saved America. In regards to that, he saved you and me from, at least temporarily, catastrophic financial despair. If you look what's going on in Europe, who's going more and more socialist every day, okay, they're running out of heat already. Yes, nuclear power plants are down. They're already burning more resources than they have to generate heat. Yeah, that's where this stuff would be heading for us. Joe, you're a Democrat. I'm not. Thank you for loving this country. Pinball out.